Stop! I'm David Tian, Ph.D, and in this video I answer the question, how to deal with bullies in a social situation. Welcome to Man Up episode 187.
Masculinity for the intelligent man. I'm David Tian, Ph.D, and this is Man Up!
Hey, it's David Tian, Ph.D, and over the past 10 years I've been helping hundreds of thousands of people in over 87 countries attain success, happiness, and fulfillment in life and love. And welcome to Man Up episode 187. And I'm in Bali here. The beach is just over those waterfalls at the resort here, shooting a video for you. And this is originally a question from, I gotta activate this, okay, from Abidal. But the actual real question is, how do you deal with bullies? And then after I answer that, I'm gonna get to Abidal's question specifically, because he's got specifics here. But most of it will be answered as I explain to you how to deal with a bully. There's a three-step process, real simple. The first step you would have learned if you did any kind of Krav Maga or good self-defense course, which is to assess the threat. When the guy walks up on you, or whatever the threat is, whatever that physical threat is, that triggers this reaction that, oh shit, what do I do now as a man? Probably the first thing you need to do is to assess whether this could turn into a physical altercation or violence. And this is something you got to train yourself to figure out. You're basically reading people. So if it looks like something, if you stand up for yourself, that might trigger him to then go further and start getting physical, then you have to then run away. Basically, like when you learn in Krav Maga, is to remove yourself away from the situation. Obviously, if there's violence or any kind of like danger going on, the best and safest place is to not be there. That's the best possibility. So if you can just remove yourself from the situation, that's always the best. Now, sometimes you can't remove yourself. Maybe you ordered some food and you're in the middle of enjoying your dinner and somebody walks up on you and gets really violent or like starts threatening you. And at that point, you want to maybe see if you could do step 2 here, because then you're enjoying your dinner or something. Or maybe you're with somebody who is vulnerable, like your grandmother or your daughter or something, and you need to protect them. And maybe they can't run as fast as you could run or get out of the situation as easily as you could. So now you're in a protection mode. So if that's the case, then you have to move into step 2. Okay, but first, the easiest thing to do is to actually remove yourself from the situation. Now, sometimes a bully is just somebody you can ignore, and you might be too sensitive. That's a lot of guys. A lot of guys who have trouble with women are actually too sensitive about other guys because their ego is involved. And a lot of the reasons why they suck with women is because their egos are involved even in their interactions with women. They think about themselves too much. They're too narcissistic. They're too self-involved. They're too self-centered. They think about themselves too much. They compare themselves to other people too much. And when that happens, it's easy to trigger that guy. It's easy to pick on that guy because he feels always like he's being attacked. And that's a lot of guys, actually, a lot of people who feel that way. But if that's the case, if you feel like you're too sensitive, well, you got to get therapy or coaching. But let's assume that you realize, okay, this is not you being overly sensitive. This person is actually going overboard here and is not easily ignored. So if you can just ignore it, that's even easier. If he can't be ignored, if you can remove yourself from the situation, that's the best. And if neither of those work for whatever reasons, then you go to step 2. Step 2, so remember, step 1 is assess the threat. Step 2 is, what's the goal? What's the end game here? What are you trying to do? So in many cases, if you can't remove yourself from the situation and you can't just ignore him, you need to remove him out of here. Right, so the easiest thing to do is then if that's the goal, you have to decide whether the goal is that door, right? Getting him out that door, or getting him over to the bar, or getting him to the bouncers, or getting him to the police, or whatever, I don't know. Like moving him in a specific place, because you just talking and hoping he will leave is not a great strategy. You need to take the leadership and try to or maybe it's to talk long enough to get you and your loved ones out of the situation and remove yourselves from there, or you and your date out of there. So the goal, what's the goal? Where are you headed? Like even physically, which direction are you going? So once you figure that out, in many cases, if you're in a club or a bar, if this guy starts to get threatening at you, and maybe you got the table, or you paid a lot of money for some bottles or alcohol or whatever, and you don't want to just vacate that spot, then you need to decide whether you're going to get him to move that way. All right? And this is something most guys don't realize. Most guys get stuck in like, oh, either I fight or... No, there's a whole fucking bar, man. You can move people. So what you should then do is, once you've assessed the goal, which direction you're going to go into, either you remove yourself and your loved ones out, or you're moving him out of that physical location. Then you can proceed to step 3. So remember, step 1 is assess the threat. Step 2 is what's your goal. And step 3 is, and this branches off into 2, is what's your strategy. Okay, so the strategies are basically going to be coming out to 2. This is an oversimplification. If I had a whole day, I could walk you through a better way of, a more detailed, more deluxe version of this, but I'm giving you the synopsis. So that'll branch out into 2 options, which are either going to be defend or befriend. They rhyme. Isn't that cool? Befriend or defend. Let's go that way. Befriend or defend. Now, the easiest one, in my opinion, is to befriend. So befriend is realizing, and this takes empathy, it takes social intelligence, it takes emotional intelligence. This is why this is actually the easiest thing, the easiest 3-step process. But a lot of guys already get fucked up on the first step because they don't even know how to read people because they have mild Asperger's or severe Asperger's for all I know. And they have trouble with emotional intelligence and social intelligence reading people. They get triggered easily because of that. They're like, oh, why is he threatening me? And they were just joking around. It happens all the time. Guys who are too uptight. And then, or they have trouble with number 2. They don't know, they don't see the bigger picture of social interaction, so they don't know what their goal is. So, you know, they can break down all of these steps into larger courses, actually. But then we get to the 3rd step, and it's befriend or defend. Befriend is basically where you use your social skills to now make this guy your friend. So in this, I'll give you the exact situation for Abidal, and I'll show you how to make this guy your friend. But in most cases, you just put yourself in that person's shoes, and you see what his motivations are. And so if you can befriend him, you basically diffuse the tension there, and then you move him, right? So you move him to your goal, which you've already determined in step 2. So if your goal is to get him to the bouncers, you befriend him, now you're going physical, okay? So you're always showing when it's male-to-male interaction and you want to show some dominance, you need to get physical. You can't be shy and closed up because that guy unconsciously will just assume you can be bullied. And then that bully in him will rise up and get stronger. So you put your hands on him, not like sexually, but you put it, and it's not like religiously either. But you put your hands on him, you show some dominance, maybe put your arms around his shoulders, even if you're short, like, you know, I'm relatively short for the kind of guys who would be bullies, and I'll go up here, but then you know what I'll do? I'll just lean on the guy, and he'll have to do this. And suddenly I'm up here, and now I can just do these things, and the whole time I'm smiling and I'm talking loud. When you get to stage 3 and you realize you can't remove yourself from the situation, you can't just ignore this guy, then you have to raise your volume level by 50%. Why? Because bullies hide in the dark. Bullies operate in the shadows. If you can shine the light on them, you draw attention to what they're doing, they're going to be a lot more self-conscious because, you know, bullies come out of shame. People don't bully unless they're psychopaths naturally, right? So they're doing it because they feel like they got this power trip or they're reacting emotionally. So if you shine the light on them, suddenly it'll make them self-conscious and they'll either run or they'll freeze, right? So that's what we're going to be doing that's what you do when you raise your voice. You got to project your volume. You can't be scared of anything. You got to be clear in your mind who you are, what you're about, and the fact that you're on the good side, right? The good guy's side, and you did nothing wrong here, and you're staking your claim here, and you're protecting and defending those you love, right? So even when you're befriending, this is the mindset you have. It's the same. This stage 3 is the same, whichever strategy you choose. Whether it's befriend or defend, it's the same mindset. So anyway, so you put your arms around him, maybe you do the Tom Cruise kind of like, you pat him on the stomach and say, dude, man, it's whatever, right? You look for something about him. Now, I'll show you how to do that. Like, eventually you move into that sort of jocular joviality with your interlocutor, but that may not be the case immediately because maybe he's getting all up in your face and you feel like, ooh, now there's a lot of ego, and this is why these immature guys can't do this. But if, you know, they're like, oh, if I show him that I'm open and interested in him, oh, then I'll show weakness, right? So this is bad. Most guys can't do the mature, most easy, most effective way to deal with it. But but if you're mature, you can do this. You just befriend the guy. There's so many clues. You figure it out. Obviously, it depends on every situation. Every guy's different and how you befriend him. So there's no like clear cut, like easy, memorize this shit and say it. Of course, there is a whole other course. I've made 2 free courses on how to make friends wherever you go and how to talk to people, right? So that you can take those skills and put them into that 3rd step for befriend. But whatever it is that you choose to do, that's the befriend step. And then if your other option is to defend. So if befriending doesn't work, then you defend. So defending is about staking your ground and making clear that this is your space. You know, so defending is going to be a lot more like you mean business here, so don't fuck with me, right? So you look them in the eye, and you don't smile. You know, it's not now like, hey, we're all buddies anymore. You're just saying, back away. Right, I'm looking at the Apple sign. Let me move up to the back away. Wait, don't laugh when back away. Excuse me, sir, back away, like a fucking cop. like a fucking U.S. Border Patrol guy. I know, guys, whenever I go through the U.S., that's what I deal with. Right, so it's, excuse me, sir, what is your let me see your passport. Where's your date of birth? What is your birthplace? Or like when you go through the fucking airports and they say, you know, whatever, like, take off your clothes or whatever the fuck they say in the U.S. airports these days. Right, so you got to be, man, cut and dry business, man, and you got to be ready to back that up. That's something I should have said at the first step. If you can't remove yourself and you can't remove yourself and you can't ignore him, and now you're going to go further, you need to be sure that you know how to defend yourself, right? Like as a man, as a male, a biological male in this world, and females too. They all, as people in the modern world, we need to know how to defend ourselves physically. If you don't know how to do that, hand in your male card. Just forget it. Just pretend like you're a defenseless little kid. That's all you are. Because if you can't defend yourself physically, all you got is verbal, by the way. So you can go that way. But I've already telling you got to raise the verbal channel. Turn the fucking thing up. Volume, 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 right? And when it comes time to defend, you better be ready to back up your fucking words, right? But it's all eye contact. You see conviction in the eyes. You see conviction in the mouth, right? In the voice, in the mouth too. In the voice, the whole face. You mean it, right? And so he knows, okay, if I get into a fight with this guy, he's going to go all the way. That's what he needs to believe. All right, you see it here, right? But you don't attack him. You don't invade him. You just defend, right? So your space here, if he enters your space, then you're acting, all right? Then you're going for it, and hopefully you know how to fucking fight or defend, or maybe you got a gun or something, I don't know. In America, it gets a lot more high stakes. But you have that space, right? And you have to know how to read him. Because you got to get the jump on him. If he's about to go, the best thing you do is you go first, right? So, but you got to know. So this, obviously, self-defense really gives you, knowing how to defend yourself really gives you that confidence to back all of these things up. But verbally, that's the best if you can. Befriend before you defend, or defend through befriending. All right, but then if you feel like this guy is just crazy and you can't immediately remove, or you got to buy some time while you remove your loved ones and get your grandmother out of there, out of whatever the situation is, out of that dark alley. What are you doing in a dark alley? But, you know, then you can speak, excuse me, sir, you know, and you go fucking right? And you have the conviction in your eyes, and you have the strong frame, and you have the defense, and you know what you're going to do, and you're reacting, and you're awake, all right? You are alert. So that's how you do it, befriend, defend. Now, let's go to, so let me just remind you as I pull out my phone, well, it's not my phone, but, which is that, iPhone, this takes so long, okay, which is that, let me remind you of those three. What was the first one? It was enact, no, assess the threat, know your goal, and then your strategy of either befriend or defend. Okay, so that's the summary of the quickie course on how to deal with a bully. But Abidel has a very specific case. He doesn't even know that this guy's a bully. That's how bad it is. So, guys, okay, so he's in the private Facebook group asking this question. What would you do in a situation where you are in an event with a lot of your friends and almost everyone in there knows you, and for some reason, some random guy comes and starts yelling at you along with nonstop insults? So, as you'll see further along, he's really exaggerated the situation. I've seen this many times. Several guys ask the same question. Basically, they're at a party, random guy, and it's never a totally random guy. It's always like a friend of a friend, and you'll see this is not a random guy, who comes along and starts yelling insults. It makes it sound like the fucking Hulk is running up on him, right? And it's all a complete exaggeration. But you know what's going on in the mind of the immature guy who's getting triggered is that, exactly that, right? And it's funny because I've worked with the same issue with guys who are 6 feet 5 inches tall, you know, like big guys. And they still are like, oh, they don't know what to do. So one of the problems is socialization when it comes to assertiveness. You haven't been taught how to deal with bullies. The school system certainly doesn't teach you how to do that. They just drag both of you into the teacher's office and you get a scolding. And for all we know, both of them get sent home and get expelled or whatever, right? And so the school doesn't do shit in teaching you how to defend yourself as a man or make your way in the world as a man. But anyway. David may tell you that it's only interpreted as disrespect only if you think of it as such in your mind. So he's referring to an earlier episode I made where I talked about guys who were worried about being disrespected. He didn't get that. Sorry, Abidel, you didn't understand what I was saying. Because he's all hung up on whether this guy's disrespecting him and not on the physical danger. Right? And we know when that's happening, this guy's ego is involved, his self-esteem is involved, and so on. So I'll show you exactly what I mean here. Even if I think it's funny when someone says that, okay, that doesn't change the fact that your friends will see you as less masculine. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? If your friends see you as less masculine, you fucking insecure dick. I mean, sorry. The guys are like, oh, I'm doing this for effect, right? I call my best friends assholes, right? That's how guys talk to each other. I know a lot of you little boys who are triggered easily because you're sensitive about your ego and whether you're a man. You get, oh, what is he saying? I'm not a man. And you like, that means a lot. I don't give a fuck if you think I'm a man. I'll wear pink and have like pink fingernails. I don't give a fuck. I'll dye my hair pink too. I'll wear a full pink outfit. It doesn't change a fucking thing about me. It's just a fucking costume. Right now what I'm wearing, it's just a costume, right? This is you guys are so wedded to how other people perceive you. That's your weakness. You're not a man yet. Just because you said that, I know you're not a man yet. And that's okay. That's why you're in the group. You're getting you're getting ripped apart here in the comments. So you get it, right? Hopefully. It takes a long time. It takes months and months and months for the message to penetrate the ego. And I'm not sure if it ever will, actually. In many cases, they're too much in their own heads. Okay, and the fact that your friends will see you as less masculine and less of a man if you ignore the situation. I don't give a fuck if anyone sees me as less of a man. I don't give a fuck about what anyone thinks. I don't even give a second thought to what anyone else thinks of me, especially whether they think I'm more masculine or a man. I don't give a fuck. As soon as you start asking yourself that, you're already in danger. That's why we call the show for masculine men, or men who are learning about masculinity, because I know if you're thinking about masculinity, then you're not masculine, and I can help you. Right? That's a great way to select in people who need help, right? Because they're thinking about masculinity, and that's where I know you guys need help, right? Sort of like a doctor saying, having a diagnostic test. Well, this is the best diagnostic test ever. If you're worried about your masculinity and it doesn't have to do with physical, like maybe you have erectile dysfunction or maybe you have low energy or low testosterone, those are real biomarkers of low testosterone, or they can be correlated with low testosterone. But if anything else, if it's psychological here like this, if you're wondering, am I man? Even worse, do other people think I'm a man? Well, then you're not a man, straight up. You're not a man if you're worried about whether other people think you're a man. And then he got a question about, give us the context. Awesome, Matt, for asking that. Abidal says, it was an immature dude. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. He approached me and got so defensive after around 2 minutes after I just left the conversation with his girlfriend. So is this a random dude? Or did you fucking instigate this shit, right? So this is what the guys are they're always like this. And there's so many examples. You know, the guy who was like 6'5", and he's like, this guy's picking on me, he keeps poking at me. And I was like, whoa, you're a big guy. Were you worried that, because he was so incensed by this little guy, this guy poking him. And it turns out that there was no physical threat whatsoever, but he felt like he was getting made fun of. And he didn't know how to deal. He didn't want to be perceived as someone who was weak, so he was like, what do I do? And of course, that's the weakest response possible, right? You just tell him, excuse me, sir, or whatever his name is. Dude, I do not like people touching me. Don't fucking touch me, man. And he touches you again, you put him down. And you say, I wasn't joking, man. Don't fucking touch me. Now, that's the defend. If you want to be friend, you do, dude, you're poking me. You poke him. You poke him back so hard, he's going to think twice about poking you again. You know, if you're a fucking big dude, you go, bang, oh shit, sorry. You hit him, and then you start playing with him, you start tickling him, maybe you elbow him by mistake, get that elbow on his neck, like, oh shit, that's your neck, you tickle him, and he will never pick on you again. The whole time, everyone's just laughing. Learn these fucking social skills, man. All right, and by the way, in the old pickup world, it was called how to deal with AMOGs. And that was in the specific context of like guys picking up chicks and shit. But this is like bigger. This is basically assertiveness and social intelligence combined. All right, and you got to know how to defend yourself. Now, I tapped on Abidal's profile photo, try to get an idea of what context he's in. I'm not sure what country he's in, but he has listed as his occupation boxer. Now, you look like a tough dude, I don't know, but I hope that's not ironic, because if you are in fact a boxer, then you can actually use that 3-step system that I started off this video with. Okay, so you were hitting on his girlfriend, and then the dude shows up, and you're like, random dude, what are you doing? And you knew it was the boyfriend. So wake the fuck up, right? You got to befriend or defend now. Or if you can just say, sorry, ma'am, didn't know, and you walk out of there, that's even better. Or, you know, who gives a fuck what your friends, they're not really your friends. All you guys who give a fuck about what anyone here, there's no one here, but anyone who gives a fuck what any of these people think, anybody who doesn't even fucking know you, or even worse, your friends, if your friends judge you for you being you and you putting your real self out there, then they weren't your real friends to begin with. In fact, I am afraid, Abidal, you don't know who your friends are yet. You don't even know, because these people, those aren't real friends, that you'd even think that shit. So you should take the other course on how to make friends, because right now you have none. Or at least you don't know whether they are your friends or not. And I believe that you are not their friend, because you don't know what it takes to be a friend. You don't know what a friendship is right now, unfortunately. So many things packed in there. See, my danger is if I answer a question, there are usually 5 or 6 topics within a simple question. He thinks he's asking this, but really he's asking these 5 things. And then I have to figure out how to do that within 15, 20 minutes. So instead, I gave my own question at the beginning. And so I get that 3-step system, and then you guys can get something out of it. And then now I'm in the nitty-gritty of this question. Okay, I don't think that I did anything out of the ordinary for the guy to get so defensive, except that I tapped on her shoulder a few times during the conversation. So he's thinking maybe I touched her. Maybe we don't know, man. We don't know. It doesn't matter. The fact is, you know why he's got triggered. It's his girlfriend, and so he's insecure. So you deal with it. You got to win him over. You have to get the social skills to do that. So in this case, I gave you an example, right? I wanted to use Abidal as an example. And then I'll end with his last comment there. Which is, so this guy randomly walks up to you. What do you say? Yelling at you along with nonstop insults. So I don't know what those nonstop insults are, but you can it sounds like if the guy's yelling at you, it's not a situation where you can befriend very easily. You go, dude, stop it. Right? You go, I'm looking in the wrong, I gotta look at the camera. Dude, stop it, right? And you put your hands on him, right? And you gotta get ready. You're a boxer. You say you can defend yourself. So you hold it there. You're not gonna go out like this, but you're just gonna come out here, where your space is, and dude, stop it, right? And you gotta get his fucking attention. And dude, you call it out. You call it the fucking truth. I know you can't call it the truth. I know you don't go out saying you're insecure because you are, about what other people think of you because you are. I know you can't grab the truth, so you're not a man yet. But me as a man, people who are mature, we have more power than you. Even a little girl who has the truth has more power. Even a little boy can bully you, Abidal, because all he has to do is tell the truth about you. All he has to do is say, hey, are you afraid now of this guy, right? Because you are. What you should say to the guy is what you're thinking, which is hopefully, if you're socially intelligent, you're saying, dude, don't be jealous, man. I was just talking to her. I didn't know she was your girlfriend. Pleasure to both of you. I mean, congratulations on both of you. She looks like a great girl. Go over to her. I'm done. Go over to her. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with her. Go over to her. We're done. Go. And you order that guy to go, right? And you get ready, because that guy might come running at you, because who knows what kind of crazy people are out there, right? So you got to get ready to defend. You go bam, 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 boom. Or get out of there. If it's just you don't have to defend your mom or anybody here. Just, what do you gain from a fight? Just get out of there. You just say, whoa, 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 dude, get out. And you just defend, you remove. But if you want to, because your friends are there and you want to stay there, just tell that guy to go back to his girlfriend. Right? And then deal with that. You guys need therapy. You and the girl, if you guys want to stay together, you guys deal with that shit. And right there, that should turn you the fuck off from that girl. But you're not, because you're all in your head, you're all self-centered, you're all actually like a lot of other people, the majority of the world, and you all just want to care about how other people perceive you. And you just want significance. You feel like you're more significant if other people view you as an awesome dude. You're the cool guy. Fuck that shit, man. That's why you're weak, in fact. You know how to actually get to Abidal? If you bully him a little bit more and you just say, you're fucking weak. I've been saying that throughout this video to trigger him. Hopefully then when he gets triggered, he'll fucking listen and do something. Either that or he'll come back, he'll come back and ask more. But, the worst thing to do is worst thing that could happen is if he just listens and thinks, oh, okay, I got it. The way he watched that first episode, oh, I understand what David's saying, and then goes on in his merry way. No, man, I'm not going to let you think you understand what I'm saying. I'm going to fucking trigger your ass. I'm going to fucking trigger you. I like that word trigger these days. It's like a big thing. It's a very useful word. So he ends with, oh yeah, by the way, you can befriend this guy. Because you can say, dude, you got a beautiful girlfriend. And you shake his hand. Dude, awesome, man. You have so much respect, mad respect. And you hold him, damn, dude, how'd you do that? Tell me your secrets. I'm going to write down everything you say, man. I got to learn everything you say. Tell me. How'd you walk up to her? How'd you say hi to her? How'd you meet her? Wow, that's so amazing. Tell me more. Oh, man, of course you got a girl like that. Look at you. You have a great body. Where do you work out, man? What's your workout routine? Whoa. Oh, man, I can tell you got a great voice, too. Do you sing? Dude, shit. Do you have any records or you got any SoundCloud? No shit. Dude, it's so easy to make friends with dudes. You just kiss ass. And they love it. They're all weak-egoed guys anyway. The average guy is weak ego. So anyway, befriend or defend. Finally, still, no matter what happened, I would like to get an insight on what should be done at all times. If we are faced with such aggressive behavior, oh, it's really aggressive, huh, boxer? Were you scared, boxer? When you're faced with people of your social circle that value, so he ends with this. When you're faced with people of your social circle that value you, all he's fucking caring about is what his friends think of him. How weak is that? how juvenile is that? How 14-year-old high school shit is that? For all I know, he's 14, but he looks like an older dude. So, dude, there's nothing I can say to you if you're going to be clinging to that old value system of giving a fuck what your friends think of you, having this fake shit, being on the fake superficial status bullshit. Do people think I'm masculine level? Fuck that. You know, that's anyway, you're weak. Have I triggered you? I hope I have. Hope I have. You have no masculinity in you at all. Obviously, I'm exaggerating that. But. So, Boxer Abidel, it's time to step up. Start to work the verbal skills as well. Use your language skills. I think your English is a second language, so I don't know what language you would speak with him, but hopefully you're fluent with that. Because those who are not fluent in their chosen language will have a difficult time befriending, especially when their adrenaline is going. So then they go to defend. So it really helps if you can get those verbal skills up. This is an issue in Asia. A lot of English speakers here are non-native English speakers, so they stumble with their words, even in their native tongue in some places like Singapore. So get the verbal skills up and master the 3 steps, right? So it's assess the situation, assess the threat, know your goal, decide your goal, and then befriend or defend. Befriend or defend. You need to learn how to befriend from the social skills training, all right? And defending is just, you need to know how to defend yourself physically, so that's something I don't teach. Go somewhere else for that. Take a good Krav Maga course or something, or boxing. But in any case, those are the 3 steps. Abidal didn't realize he was dealing with a bully, but he was. And don't give a fuck about what these other people think of you. I know it's easy to say, but you know, I have a whole course for that called Invincible, and that'll walk you through an emotional process that will rewire your heart, your programming in your brain for this. All right, so the sun has set. I don't know how dark the video is now, but we got to get going. That was much longer than I anticipated. So here we go. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to say, it's been a while, man. I've been so busy lately, but we're getting back into the Man Up videos, so keep looking out. Thanks for watching the many episodes we've done so far, and join the private Man Up Facebook group. I'll see you inside the group, and you can see Abidal inside the group. And until then, Man Up.